few people can name even one famous classical musician. Leading magazines offer almost no coverage of the goings-on in classical music, and newspapers supply little more than short reviews. For nearly all Americans, the classical music landscape in the United States, the performances by orchestras and opera companies, and the work of singers, instrumentalists, conductors, and composers is alien terrain. But this was not always so. This book tells the story of a different time, of an age when classical music occupied a prominent place not only in the nation's cultural life, but in its political life as well. To tell that story, Dangerous Melodies explores the interconnection between the world of classical music in the United States and some of the crucial international developments of the 20th century. World War I, the emergence of fascism in Europe, World War II, and the Cold War. As we shall see, over the course of several decades, classical music was genuinely consequential in America, achieving a position of considerable significance, which the music had never known before and which it surely lacks today. And that was so in no small measure, because the domain of classical music became entangled in momentous events across the globe. For now, I offer a couple of snapshots to suggest the extent to which classical music once commanded America's attention. In July 1942, not long after the United States entered World War II, the American premiere of Dmitri Shostakovich's Seventh Symphony captured the country's imagination. Arturo Toscanini, the conductor of the NBC Symphony Orchestra, was chosen to lead the premiere of the Seventh, part of which the Russian composer had completed in Leningrad as German troops besieged the city. The broadcast performance, covered extensively in the press, was heard by millions of Americans who were exhorted to tune in and listen, in a nationwide act of patriotism that the U.S. government believed would fortify the wartime alliance between Washington and Moscow. But the story of classical music's importance was not always inspiring, for there was a sinister side to the music's place in American life. At times, symphony and opera administrators, responding to an outcry from the public, banned Dangerous Melodies from the concert hall or the opera house. Equally disturbing, scorn often rained down on enemy singers, conductors, and instrumentalists who learned they were not welcome to perform in the United States. Some were fired or imprisoned, and a few were forced to leave the country. Soon after America went to war in 1917, for example, fear and fury exploded across the United States as thousands of people of German ancestry, especially those without American citizenship, became the object of hostility. All things German, whether German language classes, books, or the sale of barroom pretzels, were banned. The performance of German compositions, especially by Wagner and Richard Strauss, caused a ferocious reaction. The concert hall and the opera house became a minefield, and German musicians faced unbridled animosity from a public unwilling to allow enemy artists to perform. During the Great War, many Americans looked upon Germans as demons, whether they were fighting on European battlefields, singing in America's opera houses, or conducting the nation's symphony orchestras. And in decades to come, the appearance of numerous foreign musicians could unleash hatred, arouse fear, or engender angry protest. The Cliburn triumph, the Shostakovich premiere, the wartime plight of German music and musicians. These are but a few of the stories that point to a time when classical music could pull thousands onto the streets in celebration, compel millions to listen to a wartime broadcast, or induce countless devoted concertgoers and ordinary citizens to reject Dangerous Melodies. But why did classical music once command such attention, and how to explain its centrality in American life? What caused the world of classical music in America to become so politicized, and why did the activities of musicians and performing institutions in the United States become enmeshed in the epochal event?